Hey guys, I'm Alan Thomas with Rethink Dining, part of Transform My Future, and today's a hat night. I've been, my wife and I like to take rides in our convertible down along the beach in Heckscher Drive in between Amelia Island and Jacksonville, where we live. And tonight, when I was pulling my hat out, it got me thinking about some stuff, and I'll get to that in a minute. But for those of you that don't know me, again, my name is Alan Thomas, and in 2017, I stepped on the scale at 304 pounds. I was 5'11". I'm still 5'11", but I was a whole lot bigger. I thought I would probably be 280, 290, 295. I hadn't been on the scale in a while. I was, you might say I was living in Egypt by denial. And so when I stepped on the scale and saw that number, it just jolted me. I was 55 at the time, 4 kids that were pretty much grown. My youngest was 15, and just really knew that the odds of me living another 10 years were very close to zero. I'd been in the life insurance business for many years, and primarily focusing on the senior market. That's people mostly over 65. And I'd never met a man 65 years old that was 100 pounds overweight. So it really just got my attention. I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do about this? And it was initial just kind of freak out. And I actually snapped a picture of that scale that morning because it was such a disaster. I wasn't used to taking a picture of my scales. And boom, I took that picture. You guys, you might see that picture on my website. That 304. That is the picture on March 2nd, 2017. I realized that my wife was likely going to be married to another man. My kids were going to call somebody else their dad, and equally, as important, I wasn't going to be living out the kind of life that I was capable of living. And I speak to men. My wife and I are doing a beta program for ladies too. So if any of you ladies want to reach out to the site here, feel free to. And we're taking a handful of ladies that my wife's going to be carrying through that program. But that's another story. So right now, really focusing, on that time period, it was such a disaster. But I committed, and I'd been on countless diets. You name it, I was on it. I won't say I was on all the diets, but I've been on a lot of them. And exercise program, nutritionists, doctors, shots for the stuff, all this, and nothing ever worked. But that morning jolted me, and 260 days later, I weighed 175 pounds. And I never say that to impress you guys, because I shouldn't have been 304 to begin with. I say it really to offer you hope that it is possible. Because if I can do it, anybody can. But tonight, I was in the office all day today, and my wife, Angie, not all day today. We went and saw the sun come up this morning, and like we do almost every morning at the beach, we go a mile from the beach, ride our bikes. We do about a half an hour to an hour bike ride just to get the kinks out, but hit the office around 9 and was in there, doing all kind of stuff, work with clients, and then she asked me hey, you want to take a ride in the convertible? It's a beautiful day. As you can see, it's really nice. Fall here in Amelia Island, Florida is pretty nice. And we get in the convertible and we're riding, and we like listening to music and stuff. But I put on this hat. This hat I got, this hat in Hawaii, and I won a trip. I was top sales for a company. I was actually number 3, I think it was. I went top for a company, an insurance carrier that I was working for, and at the time, and they took us to Hawaii and all. And I remember before that trip, it was always an ordeal. That was 2013. It was always an ordeal to get clothing for any kind of travel. It was kind of a pain. Even though I used to own a clothing store, it had become where I'd gotten so fat I just didn't want to even think about it. I was probably 280, 290 at the time, maybe 285. And at 5'11", I was a big boy. And I remember my wife went down to a local department store, grabbed me some shorts and bathing suits, and so many of them didn't fit. I mean, the ones that were accurately sized didn't fit. There were 42s and 44s, and they were too tight. But I remember I had this one pair, and I've saved it. It's this pair of shorts right here. It was a 42. It still is a 42. And it was just, God, it was so massively tight. I said, I really like that. I like bright colors. And so I wanted to keep them, so I kept them even though they didn't fit at all. I mean, they were like, like this far away from being able to close them, probably further. And I wasn't even at my peak weight. I was probably 20 pounds from my peak weight. But I hung these shorts up in my closet, and they hung in there from 2013. I hung them where I could see them because I wanted to get to that size. And because it was just so embarrassing to be, that obese. And my wife, she had some weight to lose, but nothing like mine. And I just, I was ashamed of it. The flight out to Hawaii, we went from Jacksonville, Florida, connected in Dallas, then I think it was San Francisco or LA, I can't remember, and then to Hawaii. And I had to wear that seatbelt extender. It's so embarrassing when you've got to push the button on the for the stewardess because the seatbelt won't close, and it's just so uncomfortable. You're sitting in those seats, but it's more than the discomfort. It's more than that. It's just feeling like a failure. I mean, here I was, being honored as the number 3 guy in this whole company, and I couldn't get control of my weight. And it was embarrassing. I was ashamed. I really was. And if you don't think it affects you in your other area of life, you're not paying attention. I mean, to think that the fork and knife and spoon were beating me every day, that I just couldn't get control of it, just was so debilitating in so many ways. And when we got back, like I say, I hung these shorts up, and it was, it took me years before really, before I really figured it out. I probably was on another 10 diets before I rethought the whole process for dieting for me. And it's what I help people with now, is that process I went through. But it was this thing I just couldn't get a hold of. But I can tell you, when I got down, and it took me, I was at a 40, I think I was wearing a 46, led all the way out, or a 48. So what it was when I at my peak, and these things were like long way away. They were just hung in that closet. And I remember the day I could put these on, and it was a neat feeling to get those on. But I was still 42-inch waist. I was still a big boy. But I was on the way down, but it was so much more powerful as I was coming down in weight. And when my wife and I would fix dinner, I wasn't sitting around eating a bowl of ice cream after dinner. I wasn't headed off, stopping by the gas station, picking up junk food, just to hide and eat the food like I'd done. And I got power over it. And it was so cool when I could do that, because my weight has just held me back in so many ways. But these shorts were retired a long time ago, but I saved them because it was really just kind of a marker for me, not to brag, but just to remember where I came from, that I couldn't put these on. And these fit over the shorts I've got on now. And I won't bore you with all that. I've done that before on camera. But just the thought, I can still wear the hat from the trip, but none of those clothes are even in my closet, except this one. And these didn't make the trip to Hawaii because they were too tight. But when I had to go to my son's closet, my 18-year-old son's closet, to borrow some clothes when I got down to 175. We were going on another trip. We actually were going to Arizona. And I borrowed his jeans, and they were skinny jeans in size 34, and they were a little big in the waist, which is really cool. And so that feeling of power that I had, that feeling of transformation, I can't describe it to you. You can only experience it. And again, I don't say this to brag or boast. I say it to give you hope, because I know what it's like sitting there and waiting on the stewardess to bring you the extra seat belt, because, oh my God, I can't wear that seat belt. And here I am, clogged into the seat. And that's a pretty good picture of it, clogged into it. And when you're sitting at these meals and you're just wanting to go back for another plate, but you're so embarrassed because people are looking at you because you're the fattest guy at the table, and you're at a buffet and they fixed all this amazing food. You just want to eat all the time, and because you can't get a hold of it. And it's so neat when you get the power over it. And I just want to say to you guys, it is possible. So I hope this makes sense. But it's not about getting in a pair of skinny jeans. That's nice. What it is about it. It's because it's really not even about the weight. It's about the perspective that you gain when you lose the weight. The perspective that you gain when you go through that wilderness of obesity and come out the other side and realize you have the power over it. It's something pretty special, and I love it when I get a testimonial from a client and somebody says something like, "You saved my life," or something like that. It's almost never about their weight. It's about the other stuff. It's about their work. It's about their relationships. It's about their all the times that they thought they couldn't and now they can, and all the things that the weight held them back from. That's where the excitement is. So as it comes dark here on Amelia Island, where we are right now, I just want to leave you with this thought that you can do this. If I can do it, anybody can do it. Is it easy? No. Is it a diet? You got to change your eating habits. Of course you do, but you got to rethink it. It's really a decision, a lot more than a diet. So I say to you, if you're just looking for another diet, man, go to YouTube, go online, you find 10,000 of them, and they all work. But if you're ready to really make a decision and to rethink dieting, book a call with me at www.transformmyfuture.com/apply, and we'll book a breakthrough session, and we'll have an honest conversation about how you can go from where you are to where you want to be, and more importantly, how you can stop your weight from holding you back to where it doesn't hold you back anymore. So, guys, have a great evening and enjoy this fall. I hope it's nice where you are. Take care.